So breaking the rules already? Yeah, that's about right. Let's very carefully get rid of this this cellophane. Let me see if we can get the box open without doing too much. I'm hoping, it says on the thing it comes with a pump. I have got pumps, but it's always nice to have a spare one because obviously you also want to make sure you've got the adapter for whatever it is that you're using. There we go. So it comes in a nice bag, which is going to be good for any kind of travel, which is good. Very flat, very flat. And it's also got wheels. Right, so it's actually got a rucksack type thing. It's got wheels. So it's got a little carry bag, which is lovely. Nice big pocket on there as well. Carry handle, that's pretty good. Yeah, pump, excellent. That's great. So it's always nice to know that you've got the correct, and it's a big tall pump as well, which is nice. Excellent. So you've got a box of that's good. They actually give you another set of fittings, which is very good actually. Liking that, and they are going to be useful as well. Didn't expect to get them. That's good, and always handy to have a spare one of those. They do tend to wear out. So that's nice. Actually, they've given you a full set of board mount, foil mounting hardware. That's good. Actually, I'm pleased with that. I guess some people would buy these boards first off, and it's their first ever one. So obviously, coming from winging and that type of thing, I already got these. So that's nice to know they do it. And here comes the board. Just feels really. It just feels really like there's nothing there, but what makes these work for foiling is you have this big plate which is obviously stuck to the bottom of the board, and your foil attaches to the plate, so that's where, you know, everything goes through, and the rest of it is just to basically float the foil. So you've got a big packing strap there. Obviously no foot straps on this board. This is designed specifically for downwinding, subfoiling, that type of thing, so there's no foot strap inserts. It's going to keep it lighter. You have got a little leash attachment there as well. So there you go, there it is. It's very long, and it doesn't look like there's a huge amount there. It really looks like it's very thin, but it's very light. It's very light. I would say that is about 5 kilos. Maybe be interesting to weigh that, but yeah, about 5 kilos, which is significantly lighter than the Crusader I've got. So there you go. So that's what you get in the box and the bag. So we'll get this pumped up. There we go. So we got 9.3. It's 18.5 wide, and it's 143 litres. So plenty of volume for me, and obviously with my big foil underneath it, that's going to give it that bit of stability. So 18.5, so that's 3 inches narrower than the one I've got at the moment. It's going to be very, very narrow. So yeah, looking nice. That's all carbon. Yeah, good. Let's get it pumped up and we'll see what it comes out like. Fantastic. And obviously a nice bag to store it all away. I'm going to basically leave this up pretty much all the time. I have got the ability to store it out of the sun, so that's what I'll do. But yeah, that's good. So Nice big pump, so it's got a nice good thick handle on it, which is what we want. We've got spare valve or spare gland there, and we've got a pressure pump, which is good, and we can go double action and single action, which is good, and we've got multiple adapters, so that's all good. So it says here 15 to 20 psi. Got the adapter on there, so let's open the little cover, and we'll basically go from completely flat. This is how it came out of the box, and what we'll do is we'll go and time it to see how long it's going to take to inflate completely up. So here we go. So pump one. Obviously an electric pump would be nice for this. Nice big sort of throw on the pump, so you get, it's nice, you're not bending over quite so much, which is good. There you go, starting to get shape to it. Right, so we've got shape. It's now full of air. Now what we're doing is increasing the pressure. So we want 15 to 20. Nice big gauge. Now you can really feel, I want to start getting that pressure in there. So you get a workout, just pumping your board up. So that's 12 psi. Oh, it's 12, 13. That's 15 psi. We'll go to 18. That's 16. That's 18. I don't know how long that was. Obviously I could have taken a couple of bites at that, but yeah, so that took that long, which is not bad actually, not bad at all. And now it's up. God, it's really rigid, and it is so narrow, so narrow. Look at that. So slightly dome deck on it, flat in the center. Good grip, nice grip here. Yeah, nice, really nice. Okay, let's go and get the Crusader and we'll give it a comparison. All right, so there you go. That's the Crusader 7.6 XL beside the new Intruder 9'3". So you can see massively difference in narrowness. It's obviously a hell of a lot longer. It's not as thick, which is interesting, because they've still managed to put in all that volume, which is really good. But it just looks like it's just gonna go through the water, which is what I want. I need to be able to get that to get that forward speed so that I can get that foil working. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, I think it's going to have to be a case of trying to figure out where the foil goes and get on it. But yeah, that's good. So that's the Crusader XL 7'6" with 150 litres of volume, 22.5 inches wide, versus the Hype Intruder 9'3", 143 litres, and yeah, that's only 18.5 inches wide. So it's weird because it it actually feels and sort of almost sounds like a hard board. It's very stiff, very stiff. So yeah, I'm hoping that there's not going to be that much flex in it that's going to take away any of the energy that I'm trying to put through the foil. Yeah, interesting to get out and see what it feels like. Fantastic. See the bottom shape there? Yeah, very flat. It's obviously this big plate to get everything, all of the hardware mounted, and it's very, very central in the board, whereas on this it's very at the back, so I have all the foil right at the front to get myself, you know, so that works. So I think it's all pointing towards flat early planing and getting the thing to accelerate. So yeah, that'll be interesting. So yeah, let's get it set up and let's get on the water and have a go. This is a nice thing. So you've got your screws to mount your foil, and these notches here are exactly the same distance as where your screws go. So they give you these little extras here with the deep T-nuts, and you basically just mount it and then slips in. There you go, super easy. So that really will save a lot of time with taking it apart. It's nothing worse than trying to put all these in. So that's a really nice little thing there. So you just pull it out, there you go, and you're ready to go away, and then put it back in again, slot it in, and there you go, mounted. Wow, that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna basically leave it right there, which is sort of at the front, because that's normally where I have it. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm actually gonna go, we'll go middle. So we'll call it number 8, and we'll tighten that up, and then we'll see where we go, because obviously there's no foot strap, so I can stand where I need to go, and we'll go from there. Right, so let's get those on nice and tight. So your foil is actually attached to this big carbon plate, which in turn is attached to the board, so all of the force is going through this solid area here. So yeah, all looks nice. Right, let's get the foil on. Now the narrowness obviously is worrying, but because I've got this really big foil, it does actually give you a bit more stability. And I struggled with the Crusader at start, but I got on with that eventually. So it is just a case of let's get out there and try. So I'm gonna get my foil on, and then we'll go out and see what we can do. Right, so this is the foil that actually got me up and flat water pumping. It is the Gong Intruder 5XL. It's 249 centimeters wide. It's huge. It's got an aspect ratio of 20, which is insane, with a surface area of 3,100 square centimeters. At the time when I started out doing this, I was nearly 110 kilos, and I needed everything I could to get myself up. And as I've got better, I've now realized that you know, I could get up with this, and I wanted to see if I could get up with a smaller foil, and I physically can't get enough speed over the foil to get it to work. And that was the board. The board was just holding me back. It's too wide. There's a theoretical maximum to being able to push a board through the water, and it just wasn't working. So I was looking at getting something a little bit more dedicated, but it just wasn't available. So now this has come out, the inflatable. Let's see what it does. Obviously, if this is absolutely game changer and it really works, then yeah, find a way of getting a hard one out. But this is only going to be used on flat water pretty much, so it should be fine. I've paired it with the Cirrus 3XL towel, which is 63 wide, and it's 360 square centimeters. So 63 wide is sometimes what some people use to actually go winging on. So yeah, that's it. That's what we're going to do. So we'll get ourselves out on the water, and we'll do some runs. We'll time them and get some speeds and see if there's any increase in the actual speed, and go from there. Cool. Fair enough. Yeah. Getting on it. God, it's narrow. That's really narrow. If I hadn't got the foil underneath here, I would be off. I feel that foil is helping me. Look how narrow it is. Look, it's only just wider than I am. Right, so like anything, a bit of speed. Yeah, I can feel there's a lot less resistance already. It's just on my knees. Right, let's try and stand up. Wow, that is super narrow. yeah, if it wasn't for the big foil, I would be, yeah, if it wasn't for the big foil, I'd be off. But yeah, I can feel that there's a lot less resistance. The deck is definitely flexing. I can feel that there's a bit of springiness there, but I did only take this up to about 18 psi, so I've got a little bit more to put in there if I want to. But right, I think that's about where I need to be. Ooh. Yeah, if I didn't have the foil under here, this would be impossible to stand on. So combination of the mast and the foil. So that looks about right. So standing where I am, the tail and the nose are about the same. So I'm not tail heavy. So obviously I think the foil's further forward than I would normally have it. So I think we're going to just have to try and experiment. So let's go down to my start point. I think it is going to be a case of relearning, and the other thing is I don't have a foot strap, which is really hurting me with trying to get up. Right, so here we go. Whew. Right, so the deck, definitely there's springiness in the deck, and that's throwing me off balance, unlike the Crusader, where it's very stiff, and I don't have a foot strap, so yeah, I'm going to have to be a little bit more delicate. So I think what's happening is I'm doing the bounce, and some of my energy is going into the board rather than through the board and into the foil. But you know what, I'm up. Yeah, very narrow, very, very narrow. So I think I'm going to have to use a bit more speed as opposed to pump to get me going, which is fine. Whew. Right, because I don't know where I'm supposed to stand. Right, here we go. Yeah, I can feel there's definitely less resistance there, but I'm bouncing. I can feel there's definitely some flex in the board, which I've got to get used to. Only learned to do this on a hard, rigid board. Okay, that was good. Whew. So there was less bounce, more paddle, and I can feel that foil starting to lift, but I don't know where it's supposed to be. I couldn't have done that on the Crusader. Crusader needs all the technique, needs all the bounce, needs everything. Whereas that is working. Interesting to see what sort of speed I got then, but it's definitely slips through the water. Excellent. Here we go again. So a bit of speed, foil's working, but that's my footing. Whew. Let's try again. We're up. Super narrow, so you can grab hold of the other side, pull yourself over the top, and then you want to try and keep yourself over the centre of the board and get yourself onto your knees. Look how narrow it is. It's only just wider than I am. There you go. And then a little bit of forward speed, get that foil and the mast to help you, and then get yourself onto your feet. Well, you've still got a bit of forward speed, and you can see it just doesn't slow down. So that narrowness and the pointiness of it, it's different to the Crusader. So I need to get some kind of marker to figure out where my feet are going to be. So I think I figured out my front foot needs to be on the second fall line back, but my back foot is still pretty much a work in progress. So it is now a case of learning this new setup. I was pretty much dialed in on the Crusader, but that took me months. But also when you're trying to do your J strokes, because it's so long, it doesn't want to turn as quick, so you've got to be ready for that. That's not a problem, but I absolutely know that if I didn't have this foil underneath, I would not be able to stand on this thing. It would just be impossible. So the foil is giving me that stability, and the mast is helping me as well. The length of it's good, it's really quite stable, 4.5, but if you get a bit of a lean on, there's no leverage on the board to bring it back, so you've really got to be quite forceful with it. But I can feel that there is definitely some flexation in the board. So whereas on the stiff board, when I pump, it's going through the board into the foil, whereas this is the pump, some of it is going into the board, which is lost energy, but being more than counteracted by the fact that the board is so narrow and so fast through the water. I'm not having to put quite so much effort in to get up onto the foil. So I'm getting up onto the foil, but I'm not able to pump and get going completely because I actually no idea where my feet are supposed to be. But I'm only putting in, I would say, about 70% effort to get up onto the foil, whereas with the Crusader I was having to put like 90 to 100% in. So the speed is making up for that. So we'll try again. So we're on the surface. Yeah, that was nice. So that was pure speed. Tiny little bit of technique. I can't pump really hard because of my knee, so that came up really nice and actually quite controlled, because I wasn't going nuts on the pump. It was just speed. So that came up quite nicely, and I think my feet are almost in the right position. I think if anything, my back foot's got to come slightly further forward, but that was nice. Like I said, the fact that I can talk to you not stupidly out of breath shows that, you know, I wasn't putting in maximum effort there. That was a bit of technique, good paddle strokes, and building the speed, and that just came up quite nicely. So that's actually really encouraging. Let's do some more runs. Right, so to sum up, I'm not back to the beginning, certainly not technique wise, balance wise, but certainly fitness wise. I'm back to probably about 6 weeks into my journey. You know, having 3 months off really makes a difference. So I haven't got the lung capacity. Having a injured knee doesn't help either, because you were really reliant on that back leg to really push through the board. However, saying that, the board itself, it's not as hard to get on as I thought it would be. Once I'm up, it's not as hard as I thought it would be. It's certainly quicker through the water. You can feel it certainly accelerates quickly, and it carries on going. So that's what I wanted to do. I needed to get that extra flow across the foil, which is working because I'm not putting the technique in. I'm only doing a little bit, and yet it's coming up. So that's pure speed. So would I recommend that you could start out flat water paddle up on a board like this? I would say yes, if you're coming from nothing else. If you've got a big foil, and I'm talking big, you know, nearly sort of like, you know, 175 centimeters wide or more, yes, I think you could, because that will help you. Yes, you're going to struggle to get on like I did, but eventually you'll get the technique and you'll get on. The reason I like my Crusader is that I use it for flat water paddle up, but I also use it for winging, and you know, for me it's a dual purpose board, and it's had a serious amount of use. It's a fantastic board. So if you wing and you foil, you know, then maybe you'd think about something, but I haven't used this for winging yet. So yes, it's going to work. It's probably going to work ridiculously in light winds, so that's something to think about. But if you were going to be looking to learn this sport, the fact that it's inflatable, it's going to be easy to get in the car and pack down and do what you need to do. I don't think you're going to know the difference between a hardboard and an inflatable. There is a definite difference there, I can feel it, but it's not enough, I think, to make a massive difference to learning this. If anything, you're going to probably learn slightly quicker, because you'll be going faster with bad technique, and that's what you want. You want the speed. So I think an inflatable board, certainly, I mean, I'm 107 kilos at the moment. This is 143 litres. It's fine, it works really well for me, and actually it's not as unstable as I thought it would be, so that works really well. There is a little bit of spring in the deck. There definitely is a little bit there, which I've got to get used to. But you can just see from, you know, the narrowness of it, it really is, it's a machine to go through the water. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed with you, actually. So I'm gonna use this now specifically for the flat water paddle up. I have got to get fitter again. I have got to regain my technique, but I think that for me now the challenge is to get back up and going, but also now to try and see if once I can do that, to drop down to a smaller foil, because I need that speed. But for the price, I don't think you can beat this. These are a third of the price of some of the hardboards that are out there, and I don't know of anyone else really that's doing these very, very long, super narrow downwind boards in an inflatable. Certainly not to the quality of this. You can just feel that the deck pad is really good quality. It's really well stuck on. There's no lifting on it. All of the seams that I've checked out, they're all perfectly glued. The deck plate underneath is very, very robust. So yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, I'm going to use this a lot, so we'll come back to this in a year and see how it's fared. But I mean, it's not going to be going to beaches. It's not going to be, you know, battered about. It's going to basically just go on the top of my car back to my garage, and then it's going to just sit there. It's not going to get deflated all the time either. But pretty impressed with it, really. So yeah, I'm happy with that. And I know some of you are going to ask about what happened with the kit failure. This is and I'd actually like to praise Gong, because my mast broke and it was 15 months old. They have got a 2-year warranty. There was absolutely no quibble. There was no quibble at all. They basically I sent it back to them, and they said, yep, no problem, we'll replace it, and they sent me a brand new one. The issue was because of where I am in the Cayman Islands, I just couldn't get it back to them, not a cost-effective route, so it took me ages to get it back. Once I got it, then I had to get it sent back out from the UK, and then I got it, happy days. So I think basically what's happened is that because I am, you know, absolutely going for it in this sport, I was really trying hard to pump, and I think basically what's happened is one of the inserts within the top of the mast sheared out, and then all that pressure in an instant went through all of the other fittings, and they sheared, and I ended up shearing off the top of the mast, which yeah, was a real shame, because I'd really started to get, you know, comfortable. My foil went to the bottom of the sea. Luckily I managed to get that, managed to bring that back, so that was no issues. But for me it was just the problem of getting it back to Gong and getting the other one back here, and it took me almost 3 months, or no, it took me 2.5 months to get it sort of to and from. And then obviously in that time I've lost my fitness, I've lost my technique, and then obviously I injured myself. But hats off to Gong. I mean, absolutely no worries. They just went, yep, no problem, we will warranty it, happy days. For the future, what I have done is I have bought replacement inserts, and I will regularly replace them. I will just make sure, because I think the amount of strain that pumping puts through this gear is I don't think we realise how much goes through. So I think as a bit of a preventative thing for the future is I'll just replace the inserts, the little brass inserts, a bit more regularly, and just try to make sure that I've got a little torque meter now that I use to put the screws in, and I torque them up to what I think they are, and so far there's not been any slippage, and I think that's probably a reasonable, but I know then I've put them in at the same every time. No, hats off to Gong, they've done really well, they've replaced it, no quibbles whatsoever. So yeah, so that's what happened with the kit failure, but unfortunately it took me off the water. If I'd been in the UK, I'd have been off the water for a week. I would have been able to have got it and got it back, no problem at all. But credit when credit's due. A lot of people try to bash brands for when things go wrong or something went wrong, and there was no problem. They replaced it, so well done, Gong. Thank you very much indeed, and I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully a bit more foiling and hopefully not quite so much pain in the knee.